we're going to introduce another segment here in the Central Indiana Champions of Champions tournament. Let's turn our attention now to the Southwest region. And the number one overall seed for the Southwest region, the 1969 Washington Continentals, finishing with a 31-0 record. A guy you might recognize from that team went on to have a very successful career with the Indiana Pacers, none other than George McGinnis. The Continentals will take on the winner of the 2012 Guerin Catholic Golden Eagles and the 1999 North Central Panthers. To round out the top half of the bracket, we got the 4-seeded Park Tudor Panthers, led by a freshman Trayvon Blewett as well as Yogi Farrell. The 5-seed in this region, the 2005 Lawrence North Wildcats. You might recognize a dynamic duo of Greg Oden and Mike Conley from that team. And now for the bottom half of this bracket, we've got the 2-seed Ben Davis Giants from 1995. They finished with a 32-1 record. They're taking on the winner of a play-in game between 1998 Cathedral and 1977 Carmel. And finally, the last two teams in the Southwest region, the 1980 Broad Ripple Rockets, taking on the 6-seeded 2010 North Central Panthers. To help break down this region, we've got a star-studded cast joining us today. First off, we want to welcome back Coach Bob Lovell, host of Indiana Sports Talk, also former coach over at IUPUI. Got an Indiana Basketball Hall of Famer from the class of 2019, Ken Barlow, once again joining us. And our guests to help break down this specific region, we've got Aaron Brennan, a graduate from Guerin Catholic, also played basketball at IUPUI. And finally, the current head coach for the Ben Davis Giants, Don Carlisle. Guys, thanks for joining us. What are your initial thoughts on this region?
Man, I think it was some good teams, man. It's hard to kind of talk about teams from different eras, but there's certainly a lot of good players on those teams, and definitely, man, it'll be a tough bracket. It'll be a tough bracket to win for any one of those teams.
Hey, Coach Carlisle, listen. Tell them you're gonna win it, man. Listen, you got to go hard at these guys.
Don't be shamed. Don't be shamed at all.
I think we have a great chance to win it. I just have respect for everybody, though.
Yeah. Oh man, you talking like a coach, man. You talking like a coach.
I got to. I got to stay ready and in that coach mode.
Hey Donnie, I agree with you. I mean, I think that if you look at the matchups, McGinnis, obviously, NBA player. Downing played in the NBA for a while. Jimmy Arnold at the small forward. Wayne Pack, Louis Day, that starting five. But the Ben Davis starting five you're talking about matches up pretty well with Washington. It just shows how great that west side of Indianapolis was back in the day.
Ben Davis team obviously is tough. It's tough. Another team that stands out on here to me is that that 1980 Broad Ripple team. You talk about point guard. They certainly didn't have a problem that year. That was King Duke. He was, I believe, a junior that year. One of the better point guards to come out of the, Central Indianapolis. Jeff Robinson, who was a 6'8" center, went on to play at Pittsburgh. Jeffrey Atkinson, who we thought was going to be in the car, he was a senior that year. Stacy Turan, who had a desperation shot. I believe it was in the state championship or the semi-state, one of the two.
Semi-state. Where did Stacy Turan go after Broad Ripple?
He played at Notre Dame football.
Oh, yeah.
That was a trick question. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So
Notre Dame
I tell you what, that was a team. Oh, and Kevin Tracy. If I didn't mention Kevin Tracy. Yeah. He had one of the sweetest jump shots to ever come out of Indianapolis. So that was one of my favorite teams from back in the day. So I definitely wanted to show them some love, and they're a sleeper in this bracket.
So what are your thoughts? Talk about how Guerin would match up against maybe that 1980 Broad. I see you smiling over there. What you got?
Yeah,
IUPUI.
Yeah, there we go. Well, first of all, I just want to, it's, an honor to be part of kind of this group.
Wait a minute. Wait. Don't talk like a coach.
I'm looking at these teams, and it's just crazy. Like, I remember that 05 Lawrence North team. Like, I remember going to those games, like going to the JV games, because if you didn't get there during the JV game, you weren't getting in because the tickets were sold out. that's kind of like where I fell in love with basketball. Like that 1977 team had one of the Shepherd brothers on there, and I currently work at Shepherd Insurance. It's like that goes back. And then that 1999 North Central team has my college coach, Jason Gardner, on it. So it's just really crazy. And then obviously 2011, I grew up with Trevon and Troy Spears was over there at that time too. So it's just crazy how much talent is like in this group. But from Guerin's standpoint, I think we played at our own pace. We played a very slow tempo. If you come back, if you look at that 2012 team, we were extremely fundamental. We didn't make a whole lot of mistakes. But then with that being said, you know, some of the things that we probably could have done a little bit better in, and not necessarily could have done better in, more stuff that we lacked in was size and just overall athletic ability.
So that 8-9 game right there, Guerin and North Central, 1999. Aaron, what you got?
I think if we would be able to slow Coach Gardner down and his team, try to make them hit shots. I think it's a game more so if they can hit shots, you know, they got us. But if they start missing shots and we kind of, you know, can bait them into taking bad shots, then I think we'll be kind of in the driver's seat for that. We rely on a lot on our help defense. I think we would take away driving lanes, make them kind of, you know, you got to give up something, right? You know, they're quick, so I think we would give up the three ball and hopefully Coach Gardner was missing that day and some of his teammates.
Well, you know what? The thing about it is, let's say you did get by that game, you got that 1969 Washington team waiting on you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got a lot of height, and they got a lot of different players, a lot of different weapons. It's not like you can in high school basketball. I feel like sometimes you can shut down one or two guys, and then you kind of, you know, have some other guys try to beat you. When you kind of get into like the college or pro level, you know, everybody can shoot, everyone can dribble, everyone can do a little bit of that. So I mean, I think we would have kind of ran into some trouble against the 1969 Washington team.
I think we go ahead and we'll give you the win in that first round, but it's a trip to Tahiti or Bahamas or somewhere against Washington.
That's fair. That's fair.
Get that 4-5 matchup, 2011 Park Tudor and 2005 Lawrence North. Is that a question at all?
Not with Odin in the middle.
Not for me.
No question.
Yeah,
Too little.
Greg Odin.
Okay, let's go down to the 7-10 play-in game, Cathedral and 77 Carmel. So 98 Cathedral. Barlow, what you got?
Well, listen, I really like that Carmel team. I remember when they won it. They kind of surprised me. But, you know, I gotta let my explicit bias show and show my pride for the Irish.
Okay. All right. Well, let's so then we got 95 Ben Davis and Cathedral. Where do you see that matchup going?
I think you know, Rollin gets neutralized in that game because you have Courtney and James. Where they hurt us in '97 was we had the double teaming. And I think you just play them straight up. You had those two big guys. I know he was a big, strong guy, but Courtney was 250, 260 in high school, and James Patterson, he was probably right around the same. And they were really big, strong guys and athletic enough to kind of stick with them. And I just think, you know, a lot of people don't know that it was really our defense that did a lot in the '90s when we were having a lot of success at Ben Davis. So I think that Ben Davis team beats that '98 Cathedral team. But, you know, like you said, we still got to play the game.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm with Don. I mean, I really think it's, you know, that '95 team with Courtney and with James Patterson, those guys were, you know, could play inside. He had great quickness on the perimeter. But he's right, defensively, that team was very, very solid. I'm sorry, Kenny. You know, I love the Irish. I love you and Scotty Brad and that Final Four team. You know that, but I got to go with the Giants.
Hey, listen, I'm not underestimating Otis Shannon, who's Mr. Football in the backcourt for the Irish, and Phil Brown. They brought a lot of toughness. I'm not saying Ben Davis don't have a little bit of an edge there because they got Mr. Basketball, 3 All-Stars. They got Coach Carlisle. They're pretty deep. Listen, I'll give the nod to Ben Davis on that one too.
Okay, all right. Then let's take a look at the 80 Broad Ripple and 2010 North Central.
I think we know your pick already, Darrell.
That's Broad Ripple easy there. Let's move on. No,
Well, I don't know about easy. That would have been a really good matchup between Ronnie Johnson at point guard and King Duke at point guard. But I do think that they would move on with Jeff Robinson in the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, folks. Well, thanks again, all of you, Aaron, Ken, Coach Lovell, Coach Carlisle. Thanks again for joining us. Fans, it is time for you to decide who advances out of the Southwest Regional. Mentioned a lot of teams. Mentioned George McGinnis with that Washington Continentals team. We mentioned Lawrence North with Greg Oden, Mike Conley. We mentioned Broad Ripple as well as the 95 Ben Davis team. Fans, time for you to decide. Of course, you can vote on social media, the MIC Network on our Facebook page, as well as MIC Network Ayen on Twitter and Instagram.